Good morning, this is Breakfast with Christian Fraser and Rachel Burden.
The UN Security Council unanimously approves a resolution calling for a ceasefire. Good morning. First, our main story. Syrian activists claim government forces continued their airstrikes last night.
The International Olympic Committee has decided not to lift Russia's suspension for doping in time for today's closing ceremony at the Winter Games in South Korea. An investigation by Newham Council found that some shopkeepers were still selling items like bleach, despite there being a voluntary code of conduct in place. And it's 11 minutes past 6. We'll take a flick through the front pages of some of the Sunday papers then, starting off with the Observer.
Yes, but I now work in the south.
And the cold weather can have serious consequences. We'll talk more about that a little bit later on. More than 80 senior Labour figures have issued a statement, in the Observer newspaper, warning Jeremy Corbyn that he will be unable to fund his promise.
He'll never be allowed to live that one down, will he?
Newham is dubbed the acid attack capital of Britain, so you would think there'd been a lot of work done there and shopkeepers would know.
Well, at the moment, last October, Amber Rudd, the Home Secretary, thank you.
11 o'clock this morning. Right, time to have a look at the weather then. It seems to get worse each time we speak to you, to be fair, Phil. I don't hold it against you. Beware the blob.
Beware the blob, the beast of the east. Thank you, Philip.
Right, we're going to be back with the headlines at 7 o'clock this morning. Good morning, this is Breakfast with Christian Fraser and Rachel Burden. An investigation by Newham Council found that some shopkeepers were still selling items like bleach, despite there being a voluntary code of conduct in place. I think we need to check photos from your past, Christian, and see whether you've ever transgressed.
Yes, I can already feel people typing on Twitter.
County lines is a phrase some people may be familiar with, but it is a growing problem for police and other authorities around the country, isn't it?
You probably noticed that I was somewhat distracted because I think that our paper guest today, Steve Levine, has found the best story of the day.
With her as well.
With the same woman?
Yes, yeah. And just
exactly.
And this is a Cecil Beaton photo. And how contemporary does this photo look?
Recently, actually, in saying that part of the reason for this is that people aren't making as much money out of the merchandise at gigs anymore because it's so expensive to go to them. Yeah. It is going to get extremely cold.
All that to come on the BBC News Channel, but this is where we say goodbye to our viewers on BBC One. Goodbye.